There is a strong correlation between goal setting and success, and that's because the idea of setting goals is linked with higher motivation, self-confidence, and autonomy, according to a 2015 study on the psychology of goal setting. Over the past couple of weeks, I have read up on research papers, on literature, and studies around the concept of goal setting and how best to apply it. And so in this video, I thought it would be interesting to share with you my vision, my roadmap on getting to my vision, and the 3-step formula that I'll be using to set my goals and give them the best possible chance of success. Let's get into it. Before I even think about setting my goals, the very first thing I do is craft out my vision for the future. What do I want my life to look like in 5 years or in 10 years' time? This can change. It isn't set in stone, but by spending some time to really think about what you want, it makes you understand what you're working towards and why. And a really good way to think about what your vision is, and I heard this on a podcast recently, is to ask yourself, if I was 80 years old telling people about the best parts of my life, what would I want to say? Doing this step and being super clear about your vision is so important, because if you don't know what you really want, you'll be swept away with someone else's vision. There are so many people selling courses and products on what's worked for them and their vision, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you. So you want to take some time and figure out what you ultimately want and then hone in on that. So for me, my vision involves having time and location freedom. So being able to work from anywhere I want to, whenever I want to, whilst also providing some sort of value and impact to others. That's my vision. And then I need to think about a roadmap, which is essentially my strategy and how I plan to get to my vision. So do I focus on saving up a lot so I could eventually quit and do some charity work abroad? Or do I focus more on making more money and building up my passive income streams online whilst providing value at the same time? So it's about knowing what your strategy should be and how you plan to get to your vision. Once you've done that, the next layer is actually setting the goals to get you there. And for this, I'm using a 3-step formula. The first step in that formula is knowing how many goals to set and how to set them. It's undeniable that we all have other commitments going on, all of us. We just need to recognize that. There are different things that will come up in different ways, demanding more or less time from us in some way. Whether it's your day job, whether it's the kids, there's always something. So whatever it is, research shows that the maximum number of goals you should set for yourself in any year is 3, and then you should focus all of your energy on those. This was really hard for me. I had made a whole list of goals. So I got that down to just 3, and I put the rest at the back of my book that I could always refer to, but I had my key 3 ones. Once you've chosen your top 3, you want to break them down with a time frame and into quantifiable measures. So say one of your goals is to save and invest more, and you want to save 12 grand this year, finger in the air. Saying you want to save 12 grand in the year isn't really going to kick you into action straight away. So what you want to do instead is break that down. What this means is, instead of saying you want to save 12 grand this year, say instead that maybe you want to save 3,000 in the next 3 months, and then another 3K, and then another 3 grand in the 3 months after, and so on, so on. You could always change your goal depending on how you performed the 3 months before. But by giving yourself a 3-month time frame, that now gives you a sense of urgency and a need to act today. And in the book, The 12-Week Year, the authors suggest that if you give yourself any longer than 3 months, then you lose focus, and any shorter, then your goals aren't big enough. The authors also say that you want these goals to be ambitious and risky, and you want to pick something that has a chance to fail, even if you do everything in your power to achieve it. Because if you have a goal that you're guaranteed to accomplish, you'll lose motivation. Then we move on to part 2. Once you've set your key goals in a measurable way, the second step is to focus on lead measures. This is a key part in the formula, and Amy Cuddy, who is a Harvard psychologist, states that this is the place where most people go wrong. The biggest mistake with goal setting is that they only focus on the outcome and not the process. And James Clear, who is the author of Atomic Habits, explains this really well. He says, say you're playing a sport. In every sport, the goal is to have the best score on the scoreboard at the end of the game. But it'll be ridiculous to spend the whole game looking at the scoreboard, because it won't help you in any way. So instead, if you ignore the score and focus on better playing, on better strategy, on better process, then the score takes care of itself. And if you take this and apply it to your goals, what you're essentially doing is setting lead measures that you can influence more effectively than just focusing on the goal itself. So for example, if you want to save up a certain amount of money and all you're doing is continuously checking your bank account, then you're not magically going to get any closer to hitting your goals. So what you really want to do is focus on the lead measures and the efforts that you need to put in to move that goal. So your lead measures for saving more can be, for a given week, call up 2 utility providers and negotiate your bill down, or work X more hours, or spend Y this week. And by doing this, the goal will naturally take care of itself. This is way more effective than just checking your bank balance and hoping that it's bigger than before. Another thing that I like to do is write my goals and my lead measures for the week down. And studies show that you are 33% more likely to achieve your goal if you write it down. I have a whiteboard in my room, it's over there. And I have my targets for the month and then the top 3 things I need to do each week. And I make sure it's visible at all times and I physically tick it off as I go through it. I'm looking at mine and I haven't done most of the important things that I need to do this week, but without that visible check, especially if you're in business or if you're doing something for yourself, it's easy to make up an excuse and just say no because you don't have anyone checking up on you. So that motivation needs to come through from somewhere else, which leads me to part number 3, which is pretty straightforward, but is arguably the make or break in this whole goal setting formula. That is to have an accountability partner. There was a study conducted in 2015 by Dr. Matthews, and he gained evidence for claims that were coming from Harvard Business School around goals and their performance. And he did a study where participants were recruited from different businesses and they were divided into different groups. The first group, they had no goals and no plan. The second group, they had written goals, but no plan to get there. The third group, they had written goals and also a well-executed plan. And the final group, they had written goals, a well-executed plan, and an accountability partner to check their weekly progress. And results revealed that the final group, who had the support of someone to hold them accountable, accomplished significantly more than all of the other groups. So how can you bring this into your goal setting process? What this essentially means is sitting down with someone close to you. It can be your close friend, it can be your relationship partner, it could be your business partner, and go through every week for 20 minutes what you said you were going to do that week and whether or not you actually did the thing. Make this really short, make this really punchy. It's not something that you want to dread. Through doing this, you're making a commitment to your partner that these are the things I said I was going to do and I've either done them or I haven't. Me and my partner, we do this on Fridays. So if I haven't done something towards the end of the week, then by Thursday, my productivity massively ramps up. I know some other people who also put money on the line and they say, okay, if I don't get this done by next week, then that money on the line is yours to keep. Now, if your goal is to save more money, then that throws a massive spanner in the works. So the accountability partner really works for me. It gives me a push at the end of the week so I have the weekend to chill out a bit. If your roadmap this year is to save more, then I have a specific video for you. And if your roadmap is to make more money, then I also have a video for you. So that's my 3-step formula on setting goals in a way that gives me zero excuse or reason to back out. I approached my goals last year in a similar way, but I'm incorporating more of these learnings into this year's goals and how I plan to execute them. If you have any tips or tricks or things that worked for you, let me know. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos.